Guilty Gear Strive is one of the most popular fighting games at the moment. With thousands of daily players and sales in the millions, it's no lie to say that Strive is extremely successful, especially by the standards of Arc System Works. There's just one problem with the game though.
The characters are inaccurate to their lore.
No lie that Guilty Gear has a lot of lore for every character in the cast, but most of this is not something you'd see in the general game. A lot of it's in side modes, like the arcade mode, or journal entries. But what if the lore was to actually apply to the characters in gameplay? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the Strive characters would be if they were more lore accurate. At the end of Strive's story, spoilers for the Guilty Gear Strive story by the way, Soul Bad Guy stops being a gear and becomes a completely normal human. Ignoring how this will affect his marriage with his basically immortal wife, Soul no longer has access to his gear powers. In-game, this is the reason why he loses access to his dragon install. However, I'd like to take this one step further. Self-damage. You ever set your whole hand on fire before? It hurts! Probably. He's not got the regenerative cells anymore, so he can't just do shit like that without consequences. Also, we would have to replace Heavy Mob Cemetery or something. Replace it with Dragon Install again.
But did you just say—
Fuck you. Kai is one of the three kings of Illyria, the strongest knight of the kingdom and of the Crusades, as well as a loving male wife to Dizzy and father to Sin. He has a lot of accomplishments under his belt. But there is one massive piece of his lore that is always overlooked. He's French. If going to offline events have taught me anything about the French, is that they're passionate about their players. To reflect this, we should have a group of Illyrians following Kai around, cheering him on at every opportunity, especially in French. I think this would add some much needed hype to the character. When Mei wins, we see a victory shot of her with all the jellyfish pirates. This implies that they're following Mei to whatever match that she goes to fight with, meaning that they're on the site. Are you really going to tell me they're not going to jump in and help her when she's losing? You're seriously telling me that Mei's about to get shot by some guy from the Blue Man crew and April won't show up from the sidelines with a steel chair and bam! They're pirates, for fuck's sake. They don't care about the rules. Axel is a British man from the 1990s who slipped through time and ended up in the future where Guilty Gear is set. He has gone through a lot of stuff over the events of these games, but the main thing that you need to know is that 1, he has time powers, and 2, he has complete control over them now. This is represented by the Time Stop Super that was added in Guilty Gear Strive, but I'd like to go a step further. If you had the ability to stop time, why would you ever let yourself get hit? I think that Axel should be animated in such a way where it looks like he's stopping time in order to just dodge your attack, and then the final hit of the match, you are actually hitting him. Remember, this is just a normal guy. If you pop busted him, he would probably die. Chipp is the president of the Eastern Chipp Kingdom. He's also a ninja. You now know everything you need to know about Chipp. Probably. I don't know how Guilty Gear leaders do it, but basically all of them are able to leave their station without someone going to look over them. And considering how fragile Chipp is, I highly doubt that he's ever actually alone when he's in a fight. In fact, I imagine he's currently being watched by a stronger, better, more professional ninja. If Chipp loses, I think you should get assassinated by Answer. I don't make the rules, I just make the rules. Add him to the game. Potemkin is the best weapon that Zepp has, and is deployed into battle in order to solve basically any problem that they have. Despite reporting to Gabriel after every mission, it does seem like Potemkin has a level of agency to complete everything as he sees fit. Let's change that. Have Gabriel feed him orders during the match. Potemkin, you need to botbuster him right now! Right now! Do it, Potemkin! This is an order! Potemkin! Potemkin! Faust is a miracle doctor who's able to cure basically any illness. He's having a bit of a moment in Strive though, due to him spending all of his energy trying to make a giant door. I think this should be reflected in-game by having Faust heal you between rounds so that you get back up, as well as him just giving up because he's just not feeling it, and that way I don't have to fight him again, and I don't have to deal with that fucking crawl! Millia is currently working for the Post-War Administration Bureau, along with Zato. Both characters already have text referring to recruiting people, and Millia will even give you a grade on your performance if she beats you. So why does she actually take you back if you pass her test? Just have an animation of her dragging your corpse off the screen really, really slowly. Also, apparently in the older games, she likes chastity, so horny characters now take more damage from her. Fuck you, why not? Zato lost his eyesight in order to control Eddie, meaning he is actually blind and uses Eddie to see his surroundings. Because of this, when you destroy Eddie, the Zato screen should shut off, not letting them see anything and relying entirely on their sense of hearing. I think that this change will bring Zato down to a reasonable mid-tier where he belongs. Ram has a massive love for burgers, and it is a core part of her character. There's a couple of characters in this game that have food-related items in their kit. I think it would be fun when fighting Ram that there's a chance that they pull out a burger. When Ram sees this, she involuntarily moves to the burger without any input from the player. Wow, look at that, a leader that's actually followed by guards. Leo is known to be traumatized by the Crusades, as we can see in his theme. However, we don't see that in the game. I think if you taunt Leo, he should have a chance to enrage or completely break down. If he enrages, he does double damage and his attack's now 1 frame, but if he breaks down, you kind of just win the fight. The choice is yours, Batman. Onigiri, install. I will not be elaborating. Geo is feral. She was literally found in the jungle with her wolves and was forced to go into society. She stinks. She stinks good, but she stinks. She is basically a wild animal that learned English and is trying to fit into society. Why doesn't she have a move where she bites you? She's used to eating raw meat. Let her take a chunk out of someone, and let that someone be me! Anji's sort of a fixer nowadays. He gets deployed into fields in order to solve a bunch of problems in different nations. We've even seen these skills used in another story. In fact, it's probably better to say that he's actually a therapist in indirect ways. I want him to give literally all of the cast therapy as he's fighting them, having asked them questions when he beats the shit out of them. He just does like the fan thing and it's just like, did you make sure you ate today? Also, if he parries Asuka, they kiss. Ino is the reason that most of the events in Guilty Gear happen, and despite what you may think, she's super fucking depressed. I think that she should lean more into this. Instead of saying, be my bottom bitch after she throws you, she should say, did you know that life is meaningless? Everything ends. It all dies. Nothing you do ends up mattering in the long run. If your legacy lasts over 100 years, you're one of the lucky ones. Everyone will be forgotten eventually. Civilizations rise and fall, and eventually all will be forgotten. Nothing you do matters. So, why do anything? Bitch! While his design does already scream American, I think we could go a little bit further. I think all of his moves should have like a screeching eagle sound effect. There should be an American flag around, and if he fights any of the Illyrian characters, he just screams, "What the fuck is a kilometer?" Jacko in Strive is carrying the soul of Arya. It's shown sometimes with her switching the voice type that she's speaking in, but I think that we could take this a little bit further. Have her actively switch to Arya at some points in the fight. Would it affect her moveset? Fucking, I don't know, hopefully. Happy Chaos is a dubious little fellow, a big mischief man, a silly little goober. Because of this, he should actively fuck with the opponent. If this was in Canada, it'd be like 20 of him all doing different fake attacks, and the real one would just whisper, "Boo," in your ear right before shooting you. I'm sure this change will make him a reasonable mid-tip. Baiken was this hardened samurai who was out for revenge, but as she's grown, she's learned to move past that. In reflection to this, she should be more like a stern mother to everyone. Instead of landing an actual dealing blow, she just trips them up and scolds them for being stupid. Testament has the biggest list of hobbies out of anyone in the Guilty Gear cast ever. So we should represent more of them in their move kit. Have them summon a shark. Give them a Gundam. Have them RKO the opponent as one of their moves. Let them fish. Find a way to put every single one of these things into their move list. I want to see Testament suplex someone. Bridget should get a new move where she takes a sip of Calypso and decrees to the world, "This is fucking minging," before throwing it at the opponent. The reason for this is because she's British. She's fucking British. Your Pookie is one of the colonizers. Let Sin drink sugar water. Let him chug that shit. Have him nearly drown because of the amount of sugar water that he's drinking. I want to see that kid buzzing around the screen. I want the onigiri install, but for sugar water. Let him have a bit as a treat. During a battle, Bedman's bed is destroying itself. That's the whole point of it being here. It's actually trying to get rid of itself while also wanting to protect Delilah. So because of this, why does it not have a wear and tear mechanic? Surely after the 5th time that its head pops off and explodes, it would show a couple more signs of damage than it already does. That's all I'm saying. Literally all I wrote in the script was he sees a gear and has an Oppenheimer moment. I will let you interpret what this meant. Johnny's a gambling man, but his kid is too safe. He's only -15 for fuck's sake. We need to add some randomness into this. Every time Johnny throws a card, the game forces a roulette wheel to appear on the screen and has 4 options. One of them is a normal card toss, one of them is old coin, one of them causes to do double damage for 10 seconds, and the other one instantly kills him. If he doesn't use this move every 30 seconds, he instantly dies on the spot from lack of gambling. I think this would make him a comfortable mid-tier. Elphelt already seems very silly thanks to her animations. However, I think we could push this a little bit further. I want her to rant about her current hyperfixation while mixing your shit in the stance. I want her to never stop yapping at all ever. I want to hear everything from this woman. Also, if you let her yap in neutral for too long, she should just straight up give you a marriage certificate. Abba is a homunculus, and she doesn't have any blood. In fact, instead of blood, she is filled with mercury. Oh no, it appears I have damaged Abba too much, and a splash of mercury has landed in my mouth. I guess I shall now die. I think this makes Abba a balanced mid to... He kills you. As always, a very special thanks to 64 MHz, Almost Nap Time, Axolotl, Syndicate, Daniel Wiedericht, Edison Lottery, Fexo, Games.png, Haywire Novelite, Hoffmeister Bear, I Am Naoto, It's Riley, Knife and Spoon, Criticat MP04, Mr. Clen, Nubus, Ray W, Sergeant Cobby, Super, Storm SSB, Tom Tank, Velvet Puppy, and Zandatsu for being Tier 2 patron supporters.